There was a civilian that was at the site when this happened. Whatever happened to him?
His name was Gus Wainwright. Gus was a trapper. He was a guide, hunting guide. He lived up in the mountains of the Kawish area of Nevada, near Warm Springs. He had been worked in the mines for years. He was out scouting for a hunt, and I believe it was an elk hunt, when he saw the creature. And he was by himself. He tracked that creature by himself for about a day, maybe a little over a day. He said 36 straight hours, but I think later we found out it was a little bit less than that. And he'd set up traps for it. He didn't know what it was. He had no idea what this creature was. He thought it was a mutant animal from all the nuclear tests that were occurring in Nevada test site. He was convinced that this must have been some kind of a mutant creature. But he actually was the one that trapped it. And when he trapped it, he took pictures. He took a picture. And he got two other people to come down because he was going to try to take this thing someplace to maybe sell it.
Right.
But in the meantime, a Nye County Sheriff's deputy showed up. They were notified of the base that there had been an escaped military person that was going AWOL or deserter.
Right.
And so the Nye County Sheriff and I believe some Nevada Highway patrolmen were searching in that area. The Nye County Sheriff's deputy, his last name was Watson, and he, of course, has since died, but he showed up. And he looked at the creature, and he took a picture of the creature. And he asked Gus, where did you get this thing from? Where'd it come from? Gus says, I know, I saw it running around here, so I trapped it. He said, it's cuddled up in this cape. But Gus says, I don't think it's not anything I've ever seen before. So then the sheriff called the game warden, figuring the game warden would know what this was,
right,
some kind of creature. Well, the game warden got there and looked at it and said, I have no idea what this was. So, well, when the military showed up, the Nye County Sheriff's called the military. Military got there, took him custody. The military debriefed both the sheriff's deputy. The sheriff's deputy readily turned over his film. It was a 35 millimeter camera. He turned over the camera. Gus was a little more reluctant to turn it over. Now, Gus was a civilian, and the military police had no jurisdiction over him. But the Nye County Sheriff's deputy convinced Gus, you better turn it over because the federal agent's going to come and get it one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
So he did, but he didn't turn over all of it. He kept one. And that picture was at the Warm Spring Bar and Grill on the wall at the Warm Springs Bar and Grill right up until the day that that bar and grill closed in the early and probably in the middle 80s. Gus told this story a number of times. He told it to television people. He's been on some specials. I think George Knapp interviewed him once. But he had a story that nobody believed because the picture that he posted on the wall at the Warm Springs Bar and Grill, somebody else took it. So he could never go back and get that. And then, of course, at some time, Gus died, so that story...
He probably didn't have copies of it back then.
He didn't have copies of it back then.
Right. Hmm.
So that was the story of Gus Wainwright.